In the weirdest meeting I've ever seen, Trump completely dismantles Zelensky and apparently kicked him out of the White House. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is playing out live before us. I'm going to do my commentary on it. But first, here's Fox on how Zelensky got booted from the White House.
The president has kicked Zelensky out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home. The president felt disrespected. Officials in the room felt that beyond the language barrier that we've heard some discussion about, Zelensky's body language, shrugging and eye rolling, was ungrateful, disrespectful. And the president feels that Zelensky is not ready for peace and he can come back when he's ready to talk about peace. But he's not in that position right now. And Zelensky is being told he's got to go. The lunch that they were supposed to have is sitting right outside the hallway, and the press staffers are going to be eating that lunch.
They just gave him the boot. This is terrible. War is terrible. War. Huh. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. We're going to go into, this is statecraft, guys. Zelensky just blew it in a really big way. And Trump is being so rude, and J.D. Vance are so just dominant, forward, clear. It actually made my skin crawl a little bit because I'm so used to statesmen just BSing and covering everything up in frosting. They dismantled Zelensky. Here's the actual, this is the 7-minute conversation posted by Elon Musk, and he says, watch this carefully. It's very important. That's the understatement of the year. This is the most uncomfortable press thing I've ever seen. Apparently, it was Zelensky who wanted it to be done in front of our journalism, thinking that he'd get a good pass. This is an 8-minute video. We're going to go through it together.
This thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Okay, before Zelensky answers him, what a great man, J.D. Vance. I hope this is our next president. What a stud. Just clear, really confrontational. He's being bad cop here before Trump just unleashes on Zelensky. He's saying, why don't you try diplomacy? And Zelensky's going to say, that's very easy for you to say. I tried this or that. But he's also right that this was Joe Biden's fault. This war and Barack Obama, I'm going to skip right around Trump, who came between them. Barack Obama started the weakness that didn't give them enough help, wasn't clear. No one had the imagination that Putin was going to do what he does. Then comes Trump. Trump gave Ukraine javelins, these missiles, that I think is a big mistake, actually. This is a proxy war that America is fighting against Russia, and it is getting us on the brink of World War III. Trump knows, and he goes, vote for me for president because I have to avoid World War III. Then under the weakness of Biden, which is the evilest thing I've seen in my life, his actual neglect of the whole situation, his weakness, a man who can't put words together in a sentence, who's barely conscious, and America walked this guy through. The media thought, we're peaceful, we're the boomers, we're hippies. Peace. Trump evil, Trump bad. He said grab a woman by the hoo-hoo. Biden, we're going to go back to sanity. said these lunatics that are so naive, they don't understand there are evil people in the world. Putin is evil. And he saw a weak Biden come in the office, and that wolf started licking his chops, invaded 2 land masses, one of them the Crimea, the other one I forget its name, but invaded Ukraine. Now that's an evil that not enough has been said about by Trump. Fine, I get it. What Trump is saying, what Trump is seeing on the ground is Zelensky has no cards to play. He doesn't have enough power or manpower to fight a war against Putin and win. He's going to lose. The only way he's going to win is if we fund the war and we defeat Russia, which is going to start World War III. That's the lay of the land. That's the truth of it. I don't like the world, okay? The world's a terrible place. War is terrible. Losing those 2 land masses to Russia is terrible to have to concede that, but put the blame where it belongs. Europe for not buttressing Ukraine. We made a deal with Ukraine saying you have to disarm, you have to not develop your nukes, which they never should have had nukes. They were never going to be able to hold themselves against Putin, and they're right on the border. I'm sorry for where your landmass is, but you guys are screwed. And without America's help, you would have, Trump's going to say this in a minute, they wouldn't have lasted 2 weeks against Putin without us funding this proxy war. But this, just to put it where this whole war, hundreds of thousands of Russian and Ukrainian young men dead because of Joe Biden, because of our media put him in office, because of peaceniks, because of do-gooders, because of warmongers, and yes, even on our side, neocons, where we could just keep thinking like statecraft, fund everything around the world. Maybe it would have worked, but if you're going to start messing with, if you fire one shot, if you pay one bullet for Zelensky to shoot a Russian, I just want you to imagine for a second, if another country, let's say China, was paying Mexico to go to war with us and to start shooting our people, we would declare war on China in 2 seconds. So I think Russia's been incredibly conciliatory toward us given what we've funded. That's my big picture. I'm sorry for the rant, guys. I know that you're here to see this, but I hope you've already seen this amazing public truth-telling. They completely pull Zelensky's pants down.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, parts of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line.
People have been dying since 2014. It started in 2014 under Obama. Just to put blame where it goes. The big transitional President Obama, the one. Is he the one, said Oprah? They thought it was a cute joke to have a radical like Obama get into office. The cool rat pack, the cool suit-wearing Obama. His initial weakness, Putin can smell it. Putin's a whole lot of things. He's not a dumb guy. He's not a dumb guy. He started licking his chops and he knew this guy's a grifter. This guy doesn't have a backbone. This is my opportunity. That's the weakness. America voting for weakness and putting Obama in office with record numbers. We gave Putin the opportunity because we elected Barack Obama is where it started. That's where the first fires started. And suddenly we got dragged into this war that we should not be doing this kind of statecraft. I don't know what you do about it. I don't know what you do about Putin, but it's not to pay for it through Ukraine and pretend like we're not paying for it.
Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire.
Macron and Merkel. How'd that go? The ceasefire with a dragon like Putin. What worldwide weakness this is. And then this defeats the whole idea of NATO and everything. If you can't stand up to Putin, and we can't, apparently, no one has the ability to fight. Everyone just wants to talk about this ceasefire, and no one's going to push back on him. Putin is correct. He called it right. If he wants to take that Ukraine back, and he has the power, he goes, it's time, because Europe's weak. Macron and Germany, and yes, America. He goes, it is time. So I don't entirely blame Putin for doing what Putin always wanted to do. Why is every other country so weak that they can't stop Putin? Because we're always thinking too late. It's not preventative enough. There was a way to handle this thing peacefully. We could have negotiated with them and probably done a workaround on this thing. Or put Ukraine in NATO and say, hey, if Russia fires on Ukraine, then all of the countries are obliged to declare war on Russia and drag us into a war? That's the other answer? We're going to go to war. We're going to send our sons and daughters in a war to go fight on behalf of Ukraine to protect it from Russia. Are you willing to do that? I'm not willing to do that. No one's willing to do that. France isn't willing to do that. Germany's not willing to do that. And no, America's not willing to do that. We never should have sent arms to Ukraine, because it didn't stop anything. That's the big mistake. Never should have been. If you can't win a fight, don't start shooting your mouth off to the bully on the block. If you can't beat him, or you're not willing to risk your life and beat him, then shut your mouth. And the whole world, Putin called our bluff. The whole world's bluff.
Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes.
Now look at his posture here. Screw you, you beggar. Look at him crossing his arms and leaning back and dissing JD. What kind of diplomacy do you mean, JD? Now, this is where the whole room is turning against him, and he's screwing up big time with his statecraft. He's really blowing it here, and his pride is in the way because he thinks he's entitled to our money, our bombs, our funding. And boy, is he about to get it snapped off in his butt.
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to...
Come once.
I have actually...
You haven't come to Ukraine, so you don't know is what he's saying. No, JD can watch the news just like the rest of us that he has a conscript problem. So he's denying the problem. Now he's a liar. He can't recruit people, so he has to go and manipulate them into service. They can't find enough 22-year-old Ukrainians to kill.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't.
We're not playing cards. Trump's destroying him. Holy smokes. This is the most uncomfortable conversation I've ever seen in public. And Zelensky wanted this to be done before our press and our media because he thought they were going to carry his water. And boy, did this backfire on him, because now Trump is mad. And Trump is tearing into him in his own way. Zelensky invited this, and he's getting dismantled. I'm not laughing at him. I know this is a terrible situation, guys, but Zelensky is done. Absolutely done.
You're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing
I'm
cards.
serious.
You're gambling with the lives of
war.
millions of people.
You
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
your
Far
hands.
more than a lot of people said they should
Have
have.
you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October.
Oh, don't do that. J.D. Vance just got him. He did. You went and campaigned for the opposition for the Bidens in October. And now you're coming in here begging for help. And he looks like an idiot right now, by the way, completely underdressed. He's in big trouble. And the press called him out on it too, asked him about his dress. Why do you dress that way? And he was very defensive, of course. But he comes in now demanding support from the United States. And Trump just said, you have no cards. And you're messing with World War III, which is true. And now J.D. Vance goes, oh, by the way, you campaigned for our opponent. What did you think was going to happen? We're not dumb. This is America first. This is us being strong, united, flexing.
Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot of
answer?
talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I
You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying-
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that there,
thank you
except
to
that-
American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire.
That's the biggest thing, is Zelensky does not want a ceasefire, because that would be basically surrendering the war. So, and I think he needs to surrender. It's time for him to realize that America isn't going to be there to pay for this thing anymore. If he was smart, he would agree to a ceasefire. He would try to get Trump on his side, and he should be able to read the room better than this. This is a terrible leader who can't read the room. Talking over Trump, the guy from the country, when Biden gave him $350 billion, wrong tone here. He's striking the wrong tone. This could be a cultural problem between how he's used to doing business, but it's over for him.
I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
is-
with me.
It
That was with
wasn't with
a
you.
guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, Because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if
And that's the end of that part of it. Now they go to the press asking more questions. But at this point, Zelensky is absolutely done. So I'm going to show you these other tweets for some backfill here. Look at this one. So this is from, this is Shadow of Ezra. Donald Trump effectively kicked Zelensky out of the White House, making it clear he's only welcome when he genuinely seeks peace. Zelensky faced worldwide humiliation, with even the Ukrainian ambassador covering her face in embarrassment as Trump put him in his place. This is the end of the Zelensky presidency. Let's watch this real quick. I'm going to bring this up on screen.
I want a ceasefire because you get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Look at her face, the ambassador to Ukraine going, he's blowing it. And what she's sad about, what this means is, Zelensky, you just lost a war. You're done. His presidency is done. Now, here's the final statement by Trump. President Trump just kicked Zelensky out of the White House for being disrespectful. He can come back when he's ready for peace. Here's Trump's final statement on the matter. A statement from President Trump. We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today, which we just watched. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion. And I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. And that brings us back to our opening video where they said they were supposed to sit for lunch afterwards, and they kicked him out, and the lunch remained in the foyer there, in the hallway, and the media got to eat it instead of Zelensky. He's definitely losing the war, because what Trump and Vance just projected, if you don't think Europe is listening to that, and this is their landmass, they're going, we are not supporting this war. We're only supporting a ceasefire or a surrender. You better go negotiate for peace right now with Putin, because this war is over. And if that happens, and I predict it will happen, then Trump really did end the war and bring peace like he promised. I pray for peace. Zelensky is not going to get that property back. I'm Doug in exile.